It's KD the one. I'm here with another solo reaction video. I know I've been trying. I said I was gonna post more the story times, all that, but give me a chance. This is something I actually seen that interests me to wanting to you know, hop on reactions. You already know. But men killed social anxiety after realizing the truth. Now here's one thing. I'm still a nigga that got social anxiety. But at the same time, like I try not to have it dictate everything I do, dictate my life. Cause I know most people who have social anxiety, they can't do the everything thing, like everyday things. Now, there's sometimes my social anxiety gets the better of me, cause I'm an overthinker, I'm an analyzer. I try to view everybody else before I view myself, and that's one problem that I'm gonna have to face. So let's get into this video and see what they talking about.
Once you realize that you don't have to be socially anxious, your whole life changes.
To throw up every single morning because my social anxiety was so bad. I couldn't sleep, I could barely walk my dog.
Boy's birthday was yesterday. I turned 29 and I wanted to give y'all a gift. I recently made a video
Happy birthday. I seen that post.
about social anxiety and it got a lot of love. Like, I did not realize that so many people was battling with social anxiety, because as I go through the world, I'm like I remember when I was really dealing with social anxiety really bad, I used to always think to myself, like, dang, these people are able to operate so normal. Like, am I the only one that feels the way I feel? So seeing the comments from that video that I did about social anxiety, it kind of made me feel better as well. Even though I'm far removed from how I used to be with social anxiety, it was really comforting seeing other people deal with this too. But now that I've learned a lot more about social anxiety, I've realized that it's really optional, because I don't believe that we need to remain or keep ourselves in any way that we don't want to be.
So I used to suffer from social anxiety, right? And one thing I learned about being socially anxious all the time, like in any setting, is that once you realize that you don't have to be socially anxious, your whole life changes. Once you realize how to beat social anxiety, it's like a whole film, like it's like your prescription changes. I don't think y'all understand. It's like a whole life changer. And it may be different for some people. Like, some people may still be socially anxious and may still fight those battles, and that's understandable. But for some people, for the select few out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. When I was younger, I couldn't even get up to sharpen my pencil. I used to be so scared.
I say that was a lot of things that got me. My social anxiety kind of left when I was in high school. Like ever since I graduated, I really never had that moment of social anxiety where I was shaking or I had anxiety attack or anything like that. But I would say I did teach myself how to be more out there. I had to teach myself how to do that. It is an optional thing.
I couldn't even come late to class 'cause I used to be so scared about what people would think and how people would perceive me. I didn't want to say certain things around certain people. And I remember one day just thinking to myself, I forgot who told me, but they were like, literally, nobody cares about what you do. You care more about you than anybody in this world. And ever since then, all hell broke loose. Like, I turned into a whole different animal. I'm not gonna lie. I started getting in trouble in school. I started just being like, bro, nobody cares. And then I realized, like, no, life don't even matter. Like, I'm not even gonna let me not even get in that conversation, you feel me? But yeah, that's how I beat social anxiety. I just realized that nobody cares and everybody's a main character in their own movie. You feel what I'm
All right,
saying?
so let's break this down. Social anxiety, the main word is social, meaning you're anxious socially, which at the root is because you're considering what other people are thinking when you're in these social settings. But it's not only considering how other people feel when you're talking to them or when you're walking through a room. No, you consider how other people feel in everything you do. While there's a healthy way to consider other people's feelings, the lines have gotten blurred because we're always told to consider how other people feel. And so now you're doing it in times that you have no business doing that. You consider how other people are going to feel about your decisions that you make, what kind of car you're gonna drive, the person that you're dating, whether that's thinking about how your mom feels about what you're gonna do, how your manager at your job is gonna perceive you. You're constantly thinking how you are gonna make the next person feel. So you're thinking for them to avoid them looking at you in a bad way. Now, in some of these scenarios, yes, you may have to consider how other people feel.
I feel like that's one thing that people end up like when you sit here and you view people of how they move the way they do. Me, a person that still can say I do have social anxiety. I still have those moments where I get caught up in my own mind. I overthink, and then there's times where I act before I think because sometimes those are the easiest times for me. There's times where I sit here and consider everybody's feelings before me. But that's not the healthiest thing to do, especially when it comes to living life every day. Like, if you're always focused on what the other person gotta say or what the other person's thinking, you're not going to be living a good life.
But you need to know how to turn this off. And for a lot of people, they don't know how to turn it off. So it becomes their character, creating social anxiousness. While being a considerate person can be good, it's also the same thing can keep you from being free. Recently, I feel like I really have overcame social anxiety by reading this book. It's called The Let Them Theory. You probably seen it sitting in the back of one of my videos before. I try to put whatever books I'm currently reading, I'm usually going to sit it right here. If you see it in a video and I don't say nothing about it, there was a certain statement that the author made in this book that really stood out to me. And I'm going to read that to y'all real quick. It is impossible to control someone else's thoughts. Therefore, fearing what other people think or trying to control their thoughts is a complete waste of time. You will never feel in control of your life, your feelings, your thoughts, or your actions until you stop being consumed with or trying to control what other people are thinking about you. I will say it again. Adults will have negative opinions about you no matter what you do. Why? Because adults are allowed to think whatever they want to think. It is physically and neurologically impossible for you to control what someone else is thinking. The average human has about 70,000 thoughts a day, most of which are random and cannot be controlled, which is why it is ludicrous to waste any of your energy worrying about what other people think or trying to change what they think. You can't even control half of the thoughts that pop into your own mind. Why the heck do you think you can control what pops up in other people's mind? You can't. Reading that paragraph right there, as obvious as it was, it really changed everything for me. Once you accept that people are gonna have negative thoughts about you, you are freeing yourself from trying to control the moment, which is why social settings feel so stressful, especially if you're in a setting with a lot of people. You gotta think about it. When you're in a conversation with one person, you're constantly trying to think, what is this person thinking? How are they thinking about me? Let me not say this. Let me not do this so they don't have these kind of thoughts. You're trying to control what they think through your actions instead of just letting another adult think whatever they're gonna think. Like the book says, we have 70,000 thoughts a day. Most of them are involuntary. So what makes you think you can control what other people are thinking about you? Instead, just let them. Let them have the negative thoughts. Let them look at you and be like, yo, she got some big ass feet. If they have that thought, let them. Allow people to think. Stop trying to control everybody. Stop trying to control what other people are thinking. This is why when you're in a conversation with one person, you're trying to control this person's thinking, which is giving you anxiety because you can't actually control what they're thinking. So that uncertainty makes you feel uncomfortable in your body. Now you can feel anxiety physically. Now you put yourself walking into a Walmart where there's a whole bunch of people, or you put yourself walking into any place where there's a whole bunch of people, you're getting more anxiety because now your brain is going into overdrive trying to consider so many people's thoughts. You're trying to control so many. Okay, her right there, she probably likes my side profile. Oh, her right there, oh nah, she probably thinks I'm short. She probably likes me a little bit, I don't know, because she just caught me doing something goofy. Oh, that dude right there, he probably think I can't fight. Like, you're trying to think for everybody in the room. making your brain go into overdrive. Now you're uncomfortable. And what do you tell yourself? I have social anxiety. I need to just avoid these social settings. No, you need to relinquish control over how other people think. Because at the end of the day, most people are actually walking the world thinking about themselves. They see you for 5 seconds and then they forget about you. While you're sitting here playing a whole narrative in their head, they're not even thinking about you. And even if you do everything that you believe is smooth, and you're acting in the way that you believe this person's gonna accept you now, depending on how that person's brain works, they can still find something they don't like about you. So if they think you're cute, let them. If they think you're ugly, let them. If they think you have a bad outfit on, let them. And when I'm saying if they think, I'm saying if you think that they think, because you really don't know. But if the thought pops up in your head of how that person could be perceiving you, I want you to tell yourself, let them. Because the moment you say let them to yourself, you're relinquishing you trying to control somebody else and putting the control back on you, which is the second thing that the book says, which is let me. So I'm going to let you think whatever you want to think. I'm going to let you feel the way you want to feel because you're entitled to that. You're allowed to feel how you want to feel. Now let me enjoy my time. Now, I mean, let me be goofy. Let me jam to the music. Now, I mean, let me enjoy myself and let them think what they're going to think about me because they're going to think regardless. Involuntary and voluntary. Once I understood this, I go into social settings and I'm like, I still have the moments where like maybe I'm trying to think for somebody else, but then I answer that thought in my head with, man, let them think that their whole existence or whatever they're thinking in their head disappears. And I'm able to just be me, live the wild life that I want to live without trying to get approval from other people. Why? Because I know at my core, I'm a good person. I'm not going to hurt nobody because that's not what I want to do. I'm not going to make nobody feel bad intentionally because that's not the kind of person I am. So I don't have to overly think for you, and you're a grown adult for me to act accordingly around you. Oh my God, they're all judging me. Let them.
We way too old to still be trying to tell our side of the story. Fuck that. You can believe whatever you want, honestly. Not having the need to explain or defend yourself, that's real peace. It literally comes a time in your life where you just gotta let people think whatever they want in their delusional little mind. To be honest, I could care what people think. See, like opinions are like assholes. Everyone has them. Don't ever give somebody the energy to bring back that old unhealed version of yourself. If it's ruining your inner peace, cut it. If it doesn't add value to your life, cut it. If it doesn't bring any type of positivity to your life, cut it. Sometimes you just gotta let people believe whatever the fuck they want. Let them run with whatever delusional, crazy idea that they have about you. Because at the end of the day, their opinions doesn't pay your bills. And on top of that, the last thing you want is somebody to rob you of your inner peace, because your inner peace is priceless. And once somebody robs you of that, like you're about to stress out over a person that could care less, don't deal with those type of people.
I am talking less in this video because everything that they saying is true. Really, these are words that I want to hear. These are words that I need to hear. Let's say that. And for other people that need to hear them, I don't want to talk over them, but I can at least explain my experiences too. When it came to it, going to school, like I said, was probably the worst time for my social anxiety. Coming out of school, I still had it. I still had it because the first place I worked at, I was working at an egg factory, and sometimes they had their chickens and shit. I worked by myself, and I was happy to work by myself. It wasn't until they moved me from by myself to working a main conveyor with people that I thought of every last move I did. And it was slowly draining me. It was tiring. I was more tired to go to work than to actually be at work because I already knew what type of face or facade I had to put on. And it wasn't until the day that I stopped putting on that shit that I started vibing. And then it was also to the point where I started learning that it wasn't giving me no positivity being around these people. It wasn't giving me nothing. So I stopped being around them. I left. And even in the job now, I don't work by myself. I always work with someone else. I work around at least 4 to 5 people in one house. And I never been more calm. I never been more chill a day in my life. And it's because I was able to confront my old self and grow from that. Like these words that they saying, it might be the most simplest things, the most easiest advice, and some people might view it as a whatever thing, but sometimes these small words are what you need to hear. You see how fast it could change someone, or how much it can change someone. So let's see what these words do for you.
You gotta understand that we too old to be worrying about what the fuck people think. Like at the end of the day, you gotta understand that some people are just miserable individuals. So if they basically get a reaction out of you, that's exactly what fulfilled their day, is getting that reaction that they wanted. Stay away from miserable
Gonna
people.
think. Let me ask y'all a question real quick. All right. Would you talk to somebody that has a mental illness and then take whatever they're saying personal? Would you do that? If you knew somebody was sick in the head, they're not in their right mind, but now they're sitting here and they're judging you, would you take that personal? No, for most people, you would not take it personal because you understand this person is not in the right mind. Most people that you are receiving judgment from is not in the right mind to even judge you. Number one, they don't know you. A lot of people are speaking through their traumas. And if you're being authentically who you are and you're not hurting nobody, person doesn't deserve to be in your space anyway. So what I'm trying to get to you guys is that social anxiety is considering other people to the extreme, to the point where you're anxious about it because you don't have control over what you're trying to control with your mind. But instead of trying to control it, just let them. They are allowed to think. They are allowed to feel how they feel about your decisions. They're allowed to. Stop trying to stop people from feeling or thinking any bad things about you. They're allowed to. There's people that don't like my videos. They're allowed to. There's people that love my videos. They're allowed to. I just gotta make my videos. You know what I mean? My videos will find who's supposed to find them. That's the let me just keep recording.
Right now, you're navigating your entire life based on someone else's mood or based on what somebody else might think about it. And here's the joke. When you look at the science, the average person has 70,000 thoughts a day. I can't control the shit that pops in my mind. Can you control what pops in yours?
I wish I could, but no, I cannot.
Correct. So what on earth makes you think you could actually control
Right.
what somebody else is going to think about you?
Right.
And yet we bend ourselves in knots, hoping that if we just do a little bit more, if we just show up at the party, if we just do this, if we just post the right thing, if we just, then people are going to like us. And yet, how many times have you bent over backwards and helped somebody out and they're not even that grateful for it?
Right.
And so this is why the let them theory and learning to say, let them think a negative thought about me and let me operate in a way that makes me proud of myself.
Yeah.
And so if you want to show up and help a friend, do it because it makes you proud of yourself. Don't do it because you think the other person's going to think you're a good friend.
And here's
right?
the thing, a lot of people do this in dating. When you find somebody or you meet somebody, you're trying to perform in a way that this person will like you instead of being who you actually are, which is understandable because we all know there's a certain version of ourselves that is at its best. Now when you get into a relationship with that person, they find out, wait a minute, that wasn't you. Now y'all sitting here confused on why the spark is lost, because the way y'all introduced each other to each other is in a way that you thought would be acceptable. So instead, be you, be the charismatic you. The crazy part is we're so fun when we're with our friends, but when we find somebody that we like, when we find somebody that we're interested in, we try to be this different version of ourselves. And if they don't like that version of ourselves, that fun version of ourselves, then let them. Let them not like that version. Let them go find another dude. Let them get disrespectful. And then let you set a boundary and leave. Stop trying to control other people through your actions. The only thing you can do is influence. That still does not guarantee that you will get the reaction that you want. So release that control. You can only control yourself. And then the very last thing I want to say about on this topic, and I know this wasn't a video that I was plugging in a lot of clips and stuff, because this is something I really wanted to get off of my chest out of stuff that I've been reading from this book. I'm on page 225 right now. I'm almost done with the book. But I'm also going to tag this book to the screen as well for anybody that want to get the book. You could get the book from this screen or you could get the book from Amazon. I really don't care. I just wanted to put y'all on game about this book. So the type of social anxiety that I was having before was the type of anxiety that I was scared that other people would see that I had anxious moments. So now I'm going into moments and I'm hoping I don't get anxiety So now I'm getting anxiety about having anxiety. So now once the anxiety hits, now I really feel out of place. So it's like an ongoing cycle. What I want to tell you guys about that is having anxiety, being fearful, being sad, crying, being happy, feeling powerful in moments. These are all natural human being feelings, all right? This is all natural stuff. But it's what you do with that feeling. Number one, God does not give us fear. So remember that. So when you listen to your fear, ask yourself, who am I listening to? Am I listening to God or am I listening to the man downstairs? Second, if you feel anxious, instead of telling yourself that that's anxiety, tell yourself that that's excitement. You know what I mean? And if you catch yourself stuttering in a conversation, allow yourself to stutter. Don't harvest on the fact that you stuttered. Because watch this, if you're in a conversation, the conversation's going like this: man, I'm really having a good day, but you know, I'm just so glad that I woke up today and I was feeling blessed, and you know, God has just been doing so many great things for me, and you know, I have my kids, I have my wife, I have a beautiful house, I have a nice car, like my life is beautiful, and I get to do YouTube as my full-time living along with owning properties. I really live good. You don't even remember that I stuttered in the beginning of this. But a lot of people go about their stutters like this. This is all tied into why people are socially anxious, because they're scared to have these moments. A lot of people stutter like this: man, today I had a really good day. Oh my God, I'm stuttering and stuff. Now you're telling yourself in your head, yo, don't stutter again. That was crazy. Like, I can't believe you just. No, it's okay. I just stuttered. It's okay. Let it happen. Now, I mean, let me stutter. Cool. Now, I mean, and then just continue to talk. It is not a big deal to the person you're talking to unless you make it a big deal. If you continue to talk and get your thought out, it is cool. You know what I mean? But once you start to make it a big deal.
I was one of these niggas too. I was one of the niggas that I was so scared that people would know that I'm worried about myself. I was like, it's dumb to hear it out loud though. Like, I was so scared of stuttering, so scared of fucking up. And hell, even sometimes in these videos, like if I start my beginning, you already know, yo, it's KD the one. If I start and I start stuttering, sometimes I just end it and just start a whole new one. Like, even when it comes to content creator, you know, a lot of things happen. Like, you get trapped in your own mind and you don't know what other people are thinking. Even when they put comments down, you don't know what those comments actually stand behind. You don't know what they feel behind those comments. You don't know why they put that comment, but yet they comment. It's something that just in life that we gonna have to deal with. It's something that we can't stop. And for people who really face this as a everyday thing, something that they can't break, I hope this video did help. I hope this video helps as much as it can, because for someone like me, these are really words that I needed to hear, because again, even when I get out of my moments, there's times that my moments come back. And as long as I'm the one who's facing them and that can try to beat them, then only I can sit here and face them. Only I care about myself that much. Only I worry that much about what other people are thinking. I don't know who needs to hear this, but I hope it finds you well.
That's when it's like, all right, yeah, okay, like, but even then, if they feel like that, let them feel like that. But just remember, most likely when that person walks away from you, they're never gonna remember that. So don't harvest on these things. This is why we feel so anxious socially. We're putting way too much pressure on moments that really don't matter.
I used to throw up every single morning because my social anxiety was so bad. I couldn't sleep, I could barely walk my dog. It was a mess, and obviously I had to get a handle on that. So I did a couple of things. The first is I happened to have a friend who was a huge extrovert who just talks to any and everybody, and I started to cling really closely to him. As he would make friends and get invited to things, I would be standing there, so by default I also got invited to those things and hung out with those people. So eventually I built a big enough friend group that I just felt more confident speaking to people at these various events, and that was kind of a little bit of exposure therapy. For what it's worth, I'm not friends with any of those people anymore, because as soon as I stopped being small and scared and weak, we couldn't be friends anymore. They didn't like that. But that was probably the biggest thing that helped me, just pure exposure therapy. The other thing that I did is I started meditating and journaling. I know nobody ever wants to hear that, but yes, it really is helpful. I tried regular therapy, didn't really work for me. I also was kind of medicated just on some stuff so I could go to sleep and not vomit every morning. But what I noticed during that time is people give you a lot of leeway to make mistakes in conversations. So you walk up to somebody and say something that's a little bit weird or didn't come out the way you wanted to or whatever, and nothing bad happens, and you do that over and over again and still nothing bad happens. It really just helps alleviate the anxiety because the bad thing you are anxious about literally just never happens.
But I like practical stuff, right? I like when people teach me something or tell me something and then I could like really walk away and try something out like a tool and then I could really like experience those benefits. So I want you guys to try something in your daily life. I want you to go into a social setting, and before you go into that social setting, I want you to think about every possible bad scenario. I want you to think about people looking at you and thinking you're ugly, girls turning you down. I want you to think about guys looking at you and saying, oh no, you're overweight. I want you to think about all.
Wait. Now, with a nigga with severe social anxiety, this would be suicide. Them niggas would sit there looking at that bit like, damn, I can't do it. That's crazy. But I understand, cause I could say that's kind of the best way how I got out of it. I would be so caught up in my head. I think about every little thing that happens, and then once I'm in the moment, my mind goes blank. I can't think about those fucking contingency plans I had to fucking save myself in this moment because there was no moment to save myself from. I was just sitting there vibing. I was probably doing my everyday thing. I was just there. And I feel like that's something that most people don't understand, that even though that you could be anxious, even though you could hold this anxiety, you could hold this such and such, there's still better things to worry about. There's still a lot of things other to worry about than just what the fuck you're doing. Like how most people say, no one really cares about no one really cares about what other people think as much as you, or what other people think of you as much as you. There's so much shit that I need to worry about today. Bills. Am I going to post a video today? Um, do I have enough money? There's so many things that I need to think about. So why should I sit here and fixate so smallly on a person I probably never gonna remember again? Unless these are people that you see in your everyday life, your day-to-day life, people that are ingrained into your life. Really, I feel like you should never think about or never care about what they feel. Hell, even people who are close to you, after a while you're going to understand how they feel, so it really shouldn't be a thing where you control or think how they feel. Because really, again, if you do that, if you focus so much on what other people think, you're never going to live life perfectly. But that was this video. I do fuck with all TyBuggy's videos. Please show this man some support. I always keep them in the description. Like, comment, subscribe if y'all want to see more videos like this, and I will see y'all boys next time. Peace.